BOSCore, that's BOSCore, started in September 2018 to solve resource limitation issues and rising transaction costs on the EOS network by creating a totally decentralized sidechain that is focused on supporting dApp developers. In January 2019, they've launched the mainnet and has been quietly making waves in the EOS community while the rest of the crypto crowd is busy talking about winter, bears, and Bitcoin prices.
We have to tell everybody the cryptocurrency market's dead. Bitcoin is dead. $9 million is gone.
One of the refreshing things that stood out for me is that when you go to the BOSCore website and click on Team Profile, you do not see the usual founder /CEO /CMO /CTO. In fact, the entire team is made up of architects, engineers, developers, and maybe just one community manager. Now, the BOSCore website may look intimidating to the casual crypto folks who are just looking for investment opportunities. Even though I usually refrain from talking about price action in this space, I must admit that I do like the idea of investing in projects that are currently under the radar but have immense growth potential. Now, BOSCore might just be this project. The most exciting thing about BOSCore to me is the proposal section. If you go to the website, look for the heading BOS WPS. The BOS community gets the vote on which project proposal deserves to get part of the 100 million BOS funding. The site isn't as visually appealing as the other sites that you're used to, but then again, I can appreciate this sort of simplicity because this website is created by developers for the developers community. Now, we all know that there are some projects out there with very beautiful UI, but frankly, the project is kind of crap. But for BOS, they're focused on what they want to achieve as a vision and not so much about impressing you guys with beautiful aesthetics. With BOSCore, the community speaks for itself. You need to have an appreciation for technology for the white paper to make sense to you. Apart from the technological innovations that the BOSCore team have already achieved or about to achieve with IBC and 3S LIB, they also plan to develop Oracle machine system which adopts game theory so that the application scenarios could be expanded. One concept has been constantly mentioned by the BOSCore team is the idea of free port. The reason for IBC is to connect various digital assets such as BTC and USDT with BOS. And BOS will become an interaction point for end users, dApp ecosystems, and digital assets. In this video, I'm going to break down what BOSCore is in simple English. These are 5 quick facts about BOSCore. BOSCore is a sidechain of EOS. What this means is that BOS helps solve part of EOS limitations without affecting the EOS system itself. One of the key objectives of BOSCore is to handle cross-chain for EOS. Cross-chain is when you're able to adopt other tokens on other protocol onto the EOS network. Why this is important is that when the community grows and you have projects developed on other chains, you want it to be able to function on EOS as well as, say, chains like Ethereum, for example. BOS chain also have some innovative technology that allows transactions to be performed faster and cheaper. But for that in-depth discussion, I'll talk about it in the next video. This particular video is just an introduction into what BOSCore is in simple English. Another important feature about BOSCore is that it is entirely decentralized, unlike EOS. The codes are fully contributed and maintained by the community themselves. The next question that I have is, why should we have a BOSCore and not have all this enhancement and updates happen on the EOS network itself? Wouldn't that make more sense? Yes and no. The thing about the EOS network is that any updates or creation or innovative ideas take a long while to be approved and to make changes. And once a change is in place, it may affect other parts of the network. Now, this is obviously going to hold back innovation. So what BOS does is a lot of the great ideas take place on BOS Core itself, on BOSCore itself. And any of these ideas become successful, get validated, and then they get implemented on EOS network. And the last, but probably the most important point of all, is that any of this protocol out there in the market today, it really depends on dApp developers. Deb developers are what drives the adoption for that particular protocol. So BOS is created to incentivize, help, and create an entire community of Deb developers for the EOS network. In some sense, you can try to think about this analogy like Android with Apple and BlackBerry. Most of the developers, when they're trying to develop mobile apps, will always consider Android and Apple, but not so much of BlackBerry, and see what happens to BlackBerry now. So what BOS Core is doing is incentivizing and encouraging the developer community to start thinking about innovative ideas to be built upon EOS. Now, I hope this video answers all the questions that will give you enough information to start thinking about BOS Core and taking it seriously. Now, why you don't find a lot of information out there in the web today is because BOS Core is predominantly supported by the Chinese community. So you don't get a lot of information out there on YouTube. So hopefully this will make a big change to the industry as a whole. Well, my name is Eugene Tay and you're watching me talking about BOS Core on Rock the Block Live.